course, a charitable foundation, and a best-selling book called Your Money or Your Life.
It's not about making a killing. It's not about how to buy real estate with no money down or anything of that sort. It's simply how to handle your existing paycheck in a much more intelligent way than the way that you've been handling it.
That means carefully re-examining your spending habits and asking if what you buy is really worth the extra working hours it will cost you.
It's the stuff that our grandparents knew. You know, her grandma read the book before it came out. And after she read, the next day she came into us and said, "You're going to publish this? Everyone knows this. You're crazy." After only 3 months, my spouse and I are out of debt. We have become more at peace with money in our life. This was in Portland.
But thousands of readers have found the book to be a revelation. They follow its 9-step program and find themselves lowering their expenses by an average of 25%.
The correspondence that we've gotten indicates that people from every income bracket are using this program.
Obviously, the steps will be far more fruitful, far more effective for people in the lower income brackets, simply because they're the ones who need to know how to stretch a buck.
Oh, good point, Vicki, good. Good point, got that.
Right, yeah.
Joe Dominguez and Vicki Robin each live comfortably on $7,000 a year while donating all royalties to their foundation. Other Americans are finding their own ways to live better with less. One solution is co-housing. In Portland, Oregon, several families have come together to form the ongoing co-housing community.
Yeah.
Each family has its own home, but they grow food together, take care of each other's children, and often share meals. They buy groceries in bulk and lower their expenses in various ways. A recent study found that co-housing families use half the energy and produce only half as much waste as typical households. Members of the ongoing community have made a voluntary decision to live with fewer possessions. According to a 1995 poll, 86% of those Americans who have voluntarily cut back their consumption say they are happier as a result. Interest in voluntary simplicity now extends even to the corporate world.
My name's Lita, and I think my life is simply too complicated.
My life has become so chaotic, I have trouble sorting things out on a daily basis, and I really thought this might help.
If you take the Simplicity course and you take it seriously, then you'll have more than enough time to do anything that's important to you.
When Dick Roy of the Northwest Earth Institute ran a workshop on voluntary simplicity at Nike's Portland headquarters, 100 people gave up their lunch hour to attend. Nearly all joined long-term study groups hoping to change their lives.
Study circles are beginning to develop, newsletters, magazines, internet resources on the computer, and so on, and that is now beginning to create a culture of simplicity, a culture of ecological living.
If trend watcher Gerald Salenti is right, it's a culture with growing appeal.
In our 17 years of trend tracking, never before have we seen an issue that is gaining such global acceptance as voluntary simplicity. In 1996, we estimate about 5% of the baby boom population are practicing a very strong form of voluntary simplicity. By the year 2000, we estimate that number is going to be up to 15%. They're finding a cure for affluenza. They get rid of their stress, and they say, you know, I like living like this a lot better. How did I live like that before?
And it's not just boomers. Salenti sees growing evidence that young Americans are also beginning to rebel against consumerism.
Today's teens and preteens are going to be tomorrow's revolutionaries. They're going to be very anti-materialistic.
These young activists hope he's right.
Just telling them, you're stupid, you're ugly, you're not popular, unless you buy this product. And it sickens me.
When Youth for Environmental Sanity members from around the world met recently, much of their discussion was about living simply and assuring a future for all generations to come. It need not be a future of deprivation. Studies suggest that the Earth could sustain a standard of living nearly as comfortable as our own for every human being on Earth. But that would demand social as well as personal change. It would mean investing in non-polluting, energy-efficient technologies, producing goods that last longer and require fewer resources, carefully reusing and recycling, rewarding frugality while penalizing waste, narrowing the gap between rich and poor, committing ourselves to economic stability instead of infinite expansion.
Your mouth feels clean, your throat refreshed, as cool and as clean as a breath of fresh air.
A generation ago, Americans watched ads like this and nobody laughed. Attitudes about smoking have certainly changed. Today, with growing evidence that overconsumption may also be hazardous, it's time perhaps for another attitude adjustment. And what might we gain? Stronger families and communities, shorter working hours and less stress, a better way of life. Think about it. Think about all the money we spend to fight various diseases, and then remember, affluenza is one malady we can cure by spending less money, not more. Thanks for being with us. I'm Scott Simon.
The preceding program was made possible by a grant from the Pew Charitable Trusts.